Hello, my name is Erica Matthews, and welcome to Images. Today you're in for a wonderful musical treat. Today on Images, I'm sitting next to two extraordinarily talented people. To my left is Ginger Jackson, who is a jazz vocalist, and sitting next to her is Bill DiGiulio, who is a jazz guitarist. And they are going to sing some songs for us throughout the show. Welcome to Images. I'm so very glad that you're here on our show.
Thank you for having us.
Actually, we are going to have both of you guys sing a song. And Ginger, could you, for our viewing audience, introduce the song that you're about to sing?
Sure. This tune is called Route 66. It's a jazz standard. Everyone usually knows it. It's usually called a blues head.
Okay.
So it's pretty simple, and it's the most simplest tune in jazz. Well, not the simplest, but one of the simplest.
Well, it's one of my favorite songs. So here is Ginger and Bill.
If you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it winds from Chicago to LA, over 2,000 miles all the way. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it goes through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. You see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flags of Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. Oh, you get hip to this timely tip when you take that California trip. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it goes through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty. You see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flags of Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino. You get a hip to this timely tip when you take that California trip. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 6666. Get your kicks on Route 66. Yeah.
Okay, did you enjoy that or what? Okay, get your kicks on Route 66. Tell me where the route is, okay? That was wonderful. I mean, I heard you scatting. Who were some of your influences in jazz?
Definitely Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald, definitely. Sarah Vaughan, I loved Sarah Vaughan. I like the way that she bends notes and she slides and scoops. So I use a lot of what she did in my scatting, scooping, a lot of bends and turns, and sometimes just, we'll do a lot in a scat, and we'll keep people's attention. I also listen to a lot of instrumental players, Charlie Parker, of course, Miles Davis. I love Freddie Hubbard, and I've actually have done a lot of his different things. I did On the QT. On the QT is my favorite tune that he does, and I actually learned the instrumental version, and usually I do that at gigs.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting to see the combination of vocals with jazz guitar. Is that a popular combination between the two? Because I'm thinking maybe jazz vocalist and piano, but guitar kind of different.
Right.
How did that come about? Or is that popular?
Yes, it is. Well, a famous combination was Ella Fitzgerald and Joe Pass, who was a phenomenal guitarist. And a more contemporary version of that would be Tuck and Patty.
Oh, yeah.
Who do both jazz and pop styles also.
Yeah. So how did you guys get together?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we met on the USC campus where we were going to school in a choral group called Concert Choir. And when I found out she was such a phenomenal singer, I asked her to sing in my recital. And that was our original get-together, and it worked pretty well, I'd say.
The combination is it just sinks in, it connects.
Right, I just thought that Bill's playing is the first thing I noticed, because from a singer's perspective, it's kind of hard to find somebody that can really follow you. And that's one of the, when people play with vocalists, that's the hardest thing for an instrumental player to learn, because it's easy, usually they get groomed to play with other musicians, but for a singer there's a certain sensitivity that has to be there, and that's what I really found cool about Bill, because he was just so sensitive. Every little thing I did, even a gesture, I find myself having to watch my gestures around him, because he's just so, right there.
Yeah. Well, a performance like Route 66, how long would that normally take to perfect?
Usually, not that long. Usually, it only took us a couple of times running through it. You basically say, okay, you take the first verse, and I'll go ahead, come in and sing, and then we'll do solos, and we're out. Basically.
Yeah. What's some of your background, or like Ginger, what's your background? Have you always been a jazz vocalist?
No, not at all. I started out in church. Started out singing in church. I started singing like Denise Williams tunes, her gospel tunes and stuff. Oh man, I would take those tracks and I would wear them out at different functions and community events, and then I go to Harvest out in Riverside, and that's like the third largest church in California, and I was leading worship there, so I was in a group atmosphere, while at the same time in high school I was doing a jazz group, jazz ensemble. So we went to different competitions, and that's when I decided I really liked jazz. And so when I applied to college, I wanted to make sure that it had a jazz program that I can be in.
Now, is jazz your primarily your the songs that you sing? Is it classical? Do you delve into classical a little bit, or operatic? Is it, or is it just jazz?
No, I did take classical lessons, because, of course, it's a very good thing to get to know where everything comes from, how to breathe correctly, how to sing correctly, and I find it particularly helpful when I'm not feeling well. I can always go back and rely upon those different classical techniques that I learned back when I was in high school. I took a couple of years of classical training, and I was at a time I was thinking about going into opera, but I decided not to. I just love jazz.
You love jazz too much.
I love jazz.
Okay. Thumbs up for jazz. Bill, tell us a little bit about your background. You play beautifully, man.
Thank you.
But I mean, how did you get started with the guitar?
Well, I originally started on piano back in 3rd grade.
Yay for piano.
Oh,
I
yes.
used to play the piano. 9.5 years. Okay.
Oh, wow. But then, of course, once I heard the Beatles and the Monkees, that kind of changed my whole attitude, and of course had to go with the guitar. And I kind of kept piano in the background and always did play it, but guitar is my primary instrument right now.
Yeah. Do you find that the teachings of piano helped you with the instrument of guitar?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Having an understanding of music in general can really make you a better musician, especially since the piano is a real fundamental instrument. As you know, in most colleges, no matter what your instrument, they make you take piano.
Yeah.
And it usually works pretty well.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear the jazz, the guitar with the jazz concept. I know one jazz guitarist, I think his name is Kenny Burrell.
Oh, sure.
Who's a great jazz guitarist, and I love the way he incorporates the guitar with the piano and all the other ensembles. Is there an ensemble with you two, or is it just the guitar and the vocalist? Do you have the drums or the piano?
Yeah. We're kind of like, well, which one should talk? Well, I think that definitely sometimes when I go out to gigs, I have guitar and piano, and usually what happens is the piano will drop out for a tune and let the guitarist take the lead more, and vice versa. So they usually pick out which tunes beforehand they want to play on more, and which ones they want to back off on more. Usually when you have a pianist and a guitarist together, the guitarist really fills in different lines and stuff like that. He just kind of fills in. He doesn't play any chords or anything.
Yeah.
Because those are both chordal instruments, meaning they serve the same function.
And the
in
jazz
a band.
is a wonderful, wonderful music to listen to. I think it's something that most people are not familiar with, and don't probably appreciate as much as maybe the popular pop music sounds. But after this PSA announcement, we're going to hear some more of Ginger and Bill, so stay tuned.
So what are you going to say? Please and thank you. Please and thank you.
Maybe they'll call.
What else? I want to stay with you. Can't.
Maybe they'll remember each other.
I'm afraid of dark.
But they'll never understand why.
Where'd she go?
Help us keep brothers and sisters together. Become a foster parent. Call Children's Institute International.
Hello and welcome back to Images. My name is Erica Matthews, and if you're just joining us, you're in for a real good treat. You missed the first musical selection of Route 66, but I'm sitting here with Ginger Jackson and Bill DiGilio, who are, she's a jazz vocalist and he's a jazz guitarist. And just going back, you're coming up on singing another song. Tell us about the song that you're about to sing and maybe a little bit of the background.
Sure. Well, like I said before, we went to PSA. I definitely grew up in the church, and I have a church background, and I have a belief in God. And so this song is about my nights that I might have with God in prayer. Usually, when you're a Christian, you might stay up and pray all night long. So this is about one evening when I stayed up all night and prayed.
Okay. And the name of the song?
Studied. It's called My Night.
My Night. And take it away. My Night.
In the heat of the night, when I feel just right, I will call upon your name. Talking is my aim. In the coldness of my room, and even when feeling gloom, I will call upon your name. Trusting is my game. And then the sun will rise, dawn will surely come. And when the day my storm. You will strengthen me even more. I will call upon your name, she said, when I'm drained. Ba 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 do 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 da da da. So ba ba do 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 da 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 da. Sa ba do ba do ba 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 do little ba ba do 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 da. Sa ba 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 do da ba da 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 la 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 la. Sa ba do little ba do 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 ba dee do de do de do de do de do de 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 do de de do de 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 do do ba do ba dee da do da 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 do da do da do de do da do 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 boo da de lo da 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 de do da da de do do de da de do da 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 of the night, when I feel just right, I will call upon your name. Talking is my aim in the coldness of my room, and even when feeling gloom, I will call upon your name. Trusting is my game. And then the sun will rise, dawn will surely come, and when the daybreak comes is when I've just begun. In the eye of my storm, you will strengthen me even more. I will call upon your name, ceasing when I'm drained, ceasing when I'm drained, ceasing when I'm drained, ceasing when I'm drained.
Girl, you have a voice on you. I was telling her, I was just thinking about Cassandra and Sarah Vaughan and all these different jazz vocalists as I was hearing that song. You have a wonderful voice.
Thank you so
wonderful.
much. I really appreciate that.
And we were talking a little bit about jazz. And Bill, you're a teacher. You're a teacher, music teacher, I believe.
Right.
And tell us a little bit about the origin of jazz, just so we can have a little grasp of how important jazz is in our society.
Okay, certainly. Well, jazz is important, first of all, because it is primarily an American-born music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although it's very popular in Europe and played in Europe. Basically around 1900, with people like Jelly Roll Morton and ragtime, jazz got started, and influence such as the spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
the gospel influences such as church worship, and popular music styles all kind of blended into what we now know as jazz.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of now some of the jazz artists that you're hearing today on the radio have lost a little bit of the meaning of what jazz was back when Miles Davis was there and Charlie Parker? I mean, do you feel that it's kind of sensationalized? a little bit?
Yeah. Also, too, the whole exploratory aspect kind of got lost also. People went a little the safe route instead of the adventurous route.
Yeah. And I mean, how hard is it to find just schools teaching jazz instead of maybe gospel and pop? Do you find that the school systems, are there just not enough classes about jazz, and that our youth are not learning about a very significant history in our lives?
Well, primarily, of course, in elementary and secondary schools. As you know, music budgets are being cut all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
So not only jazz, but music in general is really getting cut.
Yeah, but music is so fundamental because you hear the beats, you hear the sounds, and it's in our everyday lives,
Exactly.
you know. And it's just so sad sometimes when I see how people may not be aware of how important jazz is and how fundamental, you know, and how it's deeply rooted in every music that you hear, from pop to funk to rap to gospel. Jazz is intertwined in all of that music, you know, and I sometimes just wonder, do people really understand that jazz is kind of the foundation?
People don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
People really don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in. People like us who need to go out and educate and make sure, for example, everyone in my household now listens to jazz, where before no one in my household ever listened to jazz at all. And it's pretty amazing the kind of effect with me just being a jazz singer can have even on my own family. And it spreads out to my friends, to my associates, men I date, everything. And it's just so, it feels good to see how I can be a catalyst of knowledge.
Now, do you guys play around the town in Los Angeles, or is this just a get-together that you guys do every so often? You and Bill combine their talents.
Well, usually we do play together sometimes. We're not like a quote-unquote act together. We basically, you know, if something comes up, hey, would you like to come along and play? Okay.
And if people are interested, you know,
good.
USC, you guys met at USC, the choral department, and I'm sure there's concerts that are being played at USC, the jazz department, and so forth and so on. Well, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you both for joining us here on Images. You are both wonderful. I think we're going to lead out with a song. Do you know the title of this? Could you tell us the title of the song?
Yes, this is called Funky Music.
Funky music.
Funky music.
But with a jazz kind of feel appeal to it.
And hey, I'm not gonna lie, I wrote it for a class, but
you write music?
Yes.
You write jazz music?
Yes, the last two tunes were my tunes.
Wow.
Basically just
multi-talented.
I wrote it for a class, and this was the only tune in the whole entire class that had words written to it.
Really?
Yes.
So you thought about the words, and you thought about the music, and you wrote the music down from the... Wow. Maybe I need to branch out and go to this USC and learn some music. But I would like to thank you for joining us again. And I would like to thank our viewing audience for joining us. Until next time, take care.
The heat when I sing the beat between you, your feet, and funky music. Yes, you seem the type to be uptight, but now you're sitting upright. Oh, I know that you dig it. You and me in the club, no one called for a sub, but playing funky music, playing funky music. Can you feel the heat when I sing the beat between you, your feet, and funky music? Yes, you seem the type to be uptight, but now you're sitting upright. Oh, I know that that you dig it. You and me in the club. No one called for a sub. Ba-ba-da-ba, playing funky music. Playing funky music. Be-ba-di-ba-yo-bo. Be-ba-di-ba-di-ba-di. Be-ba-do-li-da-bum, be-ba-di-ba-di-ba-di-ba-do-li-da-boo-bee. Ba-do-bum-bee-bee. Zabadai, zabadai, babadai, ba-do-de, 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 bay, bay, ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-do, be-ba-do-la-di, ba-do, da-da-da-do-do-de-de-de-de-de-de-de-de-de-de-do. Zabadoo-dum, boom-ba-dum, boom-de-bway-oh. Bidda-dip, 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 bidda-dip. Bill, Bill, teach them what I'm saying. Can you feel the heat when I sing the beat between you, your feet, and funky music? Yes, you seem the type to be uptight, but now you're sitting upright. Oh, I know that you dig it, you and me in the club. No one called for a stop, be-ba-da-ba-doo, playing funky music, 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 playing funky music. We're playing funky music.